أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. صلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today will be our final lecture on this book of 250-year-old man by Shahid Ayatollah Khamenei, rahmatullah alayh. Inshallah, we'll continue if Allah gives us the tawfiq after the holy month of Muharram. We were talking about the Imam history and how they were trying to establish an Islamic government, or as Imam Khamenei mentions, Alawi government, the government of Ali alayhi salam. He talks about Imam Husayn at this moment. He talked about Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Now he talks about Abu Abdullah Husayn alayhi salam. He says that there were external dangers and internal ones. External factors, enemies, and internal factors and enemies. The external factors he mentions, but if you go to look at it after Imam Ali, after especially the second Khalifa, the external enemies have become very weak. For example, the Romans, the Persians have become weak because they had conquered those lands. And as we had mentioned, the main enemy at the time, especially after Imam Ali alayhi salam's time, were the enemies from within, the hypocrites. In fact, the Muslims who were inclined towards their own desires, their own bias. And we mentioned a couple of examples. And he says the climax of this battle between the believers, the real believers of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, the companions of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, and the internal enemies was in Ashura, where you see Imam Husayn alayhi salam is speaking to the enemy who are Muslims, but internally they are so much inclined into the dunya. Either desires have pulled them here, or fear has pulled them here, or anger against Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So many different factors. But the factor and the enemy is from within. It's no more an external enemy, it's from within. Imam alayhi salam tries to fight this enemy by educating them, because many of them did not know. He told them about it. And many of them turned by sermons, by talking to them one-on-one. He also showed by sacrificing his life and how you can fight your desires. But I want to give a bit more context. This is not mentioned in the book, but this is mentioned in another book by Dr. Tijani. I'm sure everybody has heard of his name if they don't know him. He is the one who wrote the book, Then I Was Guided. He was a Sunni, Salafi, Wahhabi. He converted and became a Shia. This book that he wrote, Then I Was Guided, he talks about his history on how was his journey from when he was this Wahhabi Salafi extremist and how he became a very strong, staunch supporter of the Ahlul Bayt after researching a lot, after meeting so many Maraji. In this book of Shias, the true Ahlul Sunnah, in one section he talks about the companions, very sensitive area. He says, and he talks about what has been written about them in the Sunni books. For example, I'll give you a couple of examples. He mentions about Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa. He says he was the one who burnt 500 hadiths. And he says, in fact, he even burnt people as a punishment. It was not done before. At the time of the Prophet disallowed burning of people as a punishment. You can flog them, you can do other things, but not burning people. But he was the one who did so. Umar, the second Khalifa, he mentioned some other things. I have not mentioned them here. For example, when it comes to distribution of wealth from Baytul Mal, bias on who should get more, who should get less, was done by Umar, the second Khalifa, from Sunni books. Even this is very interesting. The Maqam Ibrahim that we see today, it was moved to another place. It was moved to the place where it existed during the time of Jahiliyyah. We have some narrations that tell us that this era was the time when people are going back to the Jahiliyyah era. Probably this is one of the indicators that when Maqam Ibrahim is moving from its actual position to the position where it had in Jahiliyyah. Another person, Uthman, third Khalifa. We mentioned last time that he was known for his nepotism, whereby he used to favor his own Bani Umayyah and not the actual people who are deserving. And this was one of the reasons why people went to his house and killed him and assassinated him. And we mentioned Aisha, wife of the Prophet. She was the one who called him a name. The book is mentioning the name. She says herself, when they were attacking the house of Uthman, she says, "Khil this Na'thal." He has become a kafir. If you look at what the meaning of Na'thal is. By the way, there is a Kiswahili book on this, about the history of these events. In that book, it mentions Na'thal was an old Jew. As if it's trying to say, maybe Aisha is trying to say, Uthman has become a Jew. He's no more a Muslim. He changed some traditions, Uthman, third Khalifa. He prohibited the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, in a certain occasion. He says Umrah and Hajj, again Sunni are mentioning. Umrah and Hajj cannot be done together, if you do it separately. We are allowed. You can keep, for example, a few days gap and then start. He said, no, you can't do it together. You have to separate it. Things that are not existing at the time of the Prophet. Another companion of the Prophet, we are mentioning the internal enemies of the companions. The same Muslims that the Prophet had tried to make Muslims are now internally becoming corrupt. These are the real enemies of today, of the time of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. Talha, as Omar mentioned it because he was part of the Shura of 6, whereby they had to choose the next Khalifa after Omar. Omar is saying this person is unpredictable. One of the things that is mentioned among others is Talha wanted to marry Bibi Aisha. And that's the reason why, after of course the Prophet passed away. That's why the verse 53 of Surah Ahzab came down. It says you can't marry the wives of the Prophet. They are like your mothers. You can't marry the wife because Talha wanted to marry. What is this? This is that desire inside that person, that personal inclination that Islam and this other Holy Prophet's wife, have some sacredness, have some respect for yourself until a verse has to come and prohibit you from marrying the wife of the Prophet. Zubayr, staunch supporter of the Ahlul Bayt, cousin of the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet. He stands in front of the door defending the Ahlul Bayt. But at this time, when money now is flowing in, that lalach and desire and greed comes in. It is said that he had millions of dinars. A famous companion. And that's the reason why Talha and Zubair, they teamed up at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and they fought Imam Ali alayhi salam, did not give him the true bay'ah. And they are the reason when they were in this campaign where they took maybe Aisha, they went to Basra and they killed many people in Basra. It's not easy to kill a person, innocent person. You must be really corrupted to be able to kill innocent people. From being a strong companion of the Prophet to killing innocent people. For the sake of money, for the sake of power. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, very famous name. It is said that he used to narrate the merits of Imam Ali alayhi salam. But there was something inside him, corrupting him, whereby he did not give bay'ah to Imam Ali alayhi salam. It's like those people, for example, those who recite, I would like to say this, especially in this time, Mushaira, Nauha, Munajat, Qasida, they recite Imam Ali alayhi salam. When they are told, wake up for Subuh, Fajr Salah on time, they say, no, let's not do that. Let's go to our Marsha, Mushaira. This is what Imam wants from you. You don't give bay'ah to what Imam wants, and you start singing the praises of Ahlul Bayt. It doesn't work. There were people at the time, Sa'ad, one of them. We have another person, as I believe it's called Saifullah. By the way, this all is not this is from the book we said, Shias are the true Ahlul Sunnah by Dr. Tijani. He said Khalid bin Walid, Saifullah, the sword of Allah. You see many of the Sunnis, their name is Saif, probably inspired from Khalid. And also their name, many of them, his name is Khalid. He is the one during the conquest of Makkah where the Prophet did not want to shed any blood. It was a day of forgiveness. He is the one, it is said, he killed 30 people in the conquest of Makkah. This is at the time of the Prophet, not even Imam Husayn alayhi salam's time of the Prophet. He killed the people of Juthayna. He killed Malik at the time of the first two Khalifa, and he took his wife on the same day. You killed a person, he took his wife. What is his internal desire? In fact, it is said that there was a shed where there were people of Banu Salim. He trapped the people inside and burnt the place. Let the place burn and the people die. Too much violence inside. Saifullah. All mentioned in this book. Abu Huraira, I give two more. Abu Huraira, we know him. As we say, Mama Adraka ma Abu Huraira. We know him, all of us. The one who was cooking up hadith. And we have examples. Muawiyah is the one who used to give him gifts and rewards and possessions. It's very interesting. Even in today's era, if you see a person is talking very nice things, but if he is being gifted by those external powers, ignorant powers, arrogant powers, then you should start doubting this person. Once you receive a gift from those guys, then you are not a normal person. You are probably being funded from somewhere else. He was the one being funded. In fact, for us maybe it might be good news, but for him it was bad. He was also married off to privileged women. How can such a simple man, beggar, asking for food, get married to privileged women? By the sake of Muawiyah, because he was funded by Muawiyah. Ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar, very religious person apparently. He was ready not to give bay'ah to Imam Husayn alayhi salam, supporting him in Karbala, no. He gave bay'ah to Muawiyah, he gave bay'ah to Yazid, he gave bay'ah to Marwan and Hajjaj bin Yusuf al-Thaqafi, the bloodshed, the one who was shedding blood. They are these companions that have come up to the time of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. This is the internal enemy that was much more stronger than the external enemy that had been defeated at the time of Uthman, most of it. So now the question comes, these people, if you look at this name, Talha, Zubair, Sa'ad, Khalid, they were there before Imam Husayn alayhi salam, Imam Ali alayhi salam's time. So why didn't they rise up like Imam Husayn alayhi salam? Why did Imam Husayn alayhi salam rise up? Ayatollah Khamenei, rahmatullah alayhi, his theory and his explanation, and he mentions this many times in different occasions, he says they were not ordered to do so, the Imams. That order of rising up was given to Imam Husayn alayhi salam, and it was done very long ago. Even the Prophet knew it. The one who has to rise up and give his blood was Imam Husayn alayhi salam. This is one part. The second reason he gives, among other reasons, is look at the inhiraf and the deviation from the path. Fine. You have, for example, even today, in our age, we have leaders, governors, rulers who are wrong. They have some problem within them. People have problem within them. So maybe we are following the direction of Islam towards the Islamic government. We have some internal problems. We might deviate a bit, but we are still following the path. Then you have to just get some correction and you go on the right path. But at this moment, for example, Muawiyah, fine, is a very notorious person, evil ruler, but at least apparently he is not telling people not to pray salah. He is not telling people not to, for example, fast. Doesn't tell them. Apparently he is following Islam. He is allowing people to follow Islam. Internally maybe he's a hypocrite. But when it comes to Yazid now, he is now telling people there is no Islam. Instead of going forward now, you are going backward. That is the time now Imam Husayn alayhi salam is to rise up. Now we are not moving to the right direction. Now we are moving to the wrong direction. It's very problem. As you remember this very famous line of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, he mentions that Yazid, when Walid and the governor of Medina wanted Imam Husayn alayhi salam to give bay'ah to Yazid, he says, this person Yazid, Sharibul Kham, drinks wine. Qatul Nafsil Muhtarama, he kills not only a regular person, respected, esteemed, honorable people. Mu'linun bil Fisk, there are those before him, they are doing fisk and corruption and evil. But this guy is openly doing it now. We are going backwards now. Where evil is now good and good is now evil. وَمِثْلِ لَا يُبَايِعُ مِثْلَ. Now I have to stand up. Now this is too much. And therefore Imam Husayn alayhi salam gives many khutbah. to the people. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It's not like he kept quiet. It's not like he invited only a few people. He started moving in the direction of Karbala and that was over. No. He invited the heads of Basra and told them, look, the Sunnah is being destroyed. It's not like we are deviating. It's being destroyed. It's gone. He told Zuhair ibn al-Qayn that the one you are associated to, the Uthmani Empire, they are wrong educating people, one on one. And he followed. However, the Basra heads did not follow, most of them. He was misinformed by Imam Husayn alayhi salam, why he has come out, why is he moving to Kufa, why do I need to direct him to Karbala? When Imam Husayn alayhi salam advised him, educated him, that's when he understood. This was the mission of Imam, to educate people. People don't know the truth. Fourth person, this is now another example of internal desire stopping people from following the truth. The internal enemy. Ubaidullah al-Ju'fi. He tells the Imam, I'm going to give you my sword, my horse, my wealth, my possessions, everything yours. But leave me alone. Husayn alayhi salam tells him, I don't need this. I need you. I am here to fight the dunyavi desires inside you. And you are giving me dunya. I am telling you, leave the wealth and you are giving your wealth. I don't need your wealth. I am telling you to leave it. Come die for my sake. That was what the people did not have, the value of sacrifice over material possession. They are ready to give material possession but not sacrifice their life. And so last question that I want to answer here in this section that he has answered very nicely, very important point that I like. Some people ask, so did Imam Husayn alayhi salam commit suicide? We say that he knew that he was going to die. So did he commit suicide by going there? Shahid Ayatollah Khamenei Rahmatullah alayhi explains this very interestingly. He says there are two things we need to differentiate. One is the aim and one is the outcome. If I am, for example, working in a particular institute to guide the people, but the outcome is people are not getting guided, does it mean I should not guide? Imam Husayn alayhi salam's role in this whole scenario was to establish the Islamic government, Alawi government of Allah. It was not that he should establish the government, it was his aim to establish the government. If I can change the words, it was his role and responsibility to establish the government. The end result, the natija, was not in his hand. That is what I believe was the philosophy of Imam Khomeini, rahmatullah alayhi. When he was asked in the interview, you are going to fight the Shah, are you going to win? I don't know. You are going to do this, is this going to happen? I don't know. This, I don't know. All the questions you don't know, so why are you coming here? He said, you are not asking me the question that's in my hand. If you ask me, am I going to continue fighting on this path? Is this my goal? Yes, I'll fight. Will you not get tired? No, I won't get tired. These are the things I am supposed to do. Don't ask me what's going to happen. That's not in my hand. That's in Allah's hand. That is why Imam Husayn came out. He wanted to establish the government. He only needed the support. If they would have supported him, the outcome would also have been the Islamic government. And we read the hadith. People did not support him, Allah became angry, and the government of Ahlul Bayt was delayed by 70 years. And in fact, as we mentioned before, this is what Allah actually wanted. There was a purpose to give this life and blood. We need an awakening in the community. People were dead, their souls had become corrupted with materialism. That is why Imam Husayn alayhi salam, when he was told by his companions, why are you giving your life? And he gives this very interesting statement. Inna Allaha qad sha'a, Allah wishes, an yaraka qatila, the Prophet tells him. Allah wants you, O Husayn, the Prophet is telling him, to see you getting killed. That is the order of Allah. Whether you like it or not, Allah wants it. Only me? Okay, fine, it's only me. What about my family? Inna Allaha sha'a an yarahunna sabaya. Allah wants them, your women, to be imprisoned. He wants to see them moving between Sham and Kufa. He wants to see them. That means he likes it. No, it's not like he likes it. It doesn't mean he loves it. If I punish my child because they are doing something wrong, I want to punish my child. Does not mean I like to punish my child. He needs to be punished. The community and the environment and the ummah at the time needs to know what is going to be the end result if you don't follow the right leader. You will see blood spills, not any blood, the blood of the Prophet's grandson. And that is what will cause an awakening. And it repeats in history again and again. Today, recently, alhamdulillah, we got the tawfiq to actually see this again. The nation of Iran, they were a good nation, many good people inside, but not the entirety. Many people had different opinions. But the Shahada of Ayatollah Khamenei, rahmatullah alayh, brought the people together, awakened them. They realized who the enemy is, that they can kill our leader in broad daylight in his house. It woke them up. Shahada sometimes is needed to wake up the people when they are sleeping the slumber of materialism and busy in their own stuff. Let's do a peace treaty with the enemy and get more possession and money and dollars. No, blood has to be spilled to know they are the enemy. Don't side with them. May Allah give us the tawfiq to understand the mission of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, and inshallah we will be getting the tawfiq and to follow in its path and not be deviated by the evil rulers. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali tayyibin al-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala